step. So hopefully this way of thinking will help you in your vertical and your horizontal alignment that we're going to do later on after all of our announcements. But it's just a new way of thinking. So I would like for us to share like at least one example per content area. So do I have any volunteers for like band? Okay.
Sure. Well, any piece of music we play or any rhythm we count, whatever, stage one, we have a goal of a certain specific speed, tempo, and also demonstrating proper fundamentals and understanding from every student, that we can all sound the same. That's really the end goal. Stage two, getting there, we gradually increase the tempo from a previous slower tempo, using individual assessment of themselves, peer section assessments, and then ultimately teacher sees every student demonstrating well, constantly reminding them of the fundamentals. And stage three, none of that can be possible if you don't ensure that every student understands and can demonstrate the different fundamentals that we expect of them at a slow tempo. We do counting, positioning, singing. We make sure their foot is patting, they're making good sounds, good tone qualities, and that their pulse is on the tempo at a slow tempo. Otherwise, step two can't happen, and stage one ultimately can't happen if stage three isn't there. So it all breaks down to fundamentals and being really just in their business about everything.
Okay, cool. What about art? Do we have any examples from art?
Okay, disclaimer, I'm in grad school right now, and this is what I've been working on for the last like 7 weeks.
Well, that's awesome.
Like I just finished stage 3 form and turned it in on Wednesday. So my lesson with art, we were talking about, probably with a lot of fine arts, a lot of our lessons will hit a lot of different teaks. And so the understanding, I chose AP art and grades 11 to 12. So my stage 1 students will understand that artists can use art to create a body of work that focuses around a central topic or theme, to use art as their voice. So stage 2 will use group discussion, teacher and student interviews, AP peer critique, things like that, to do formative assessment all throughout the building of a portfolio. So what we do at the beginning of AP, so like my unit is introduction to the AP portfolio. So as a group, we discuss what makes a strong portfolio, what makes a weak portfolio. We look at examples of portfolios. We look at examples of artists throughout history and their bodies of work, and try to make connections to how they, is this a sustained investigation of a topic, or is it a disconnected body of work? And then using sketchbook prompts and assignments, they have to develop their own topics for their sustained investigations, and then narrow it down by having teacher-student interviews, peer interviews, and then they eventually will create their own body of work that rotates around a central theme called a sustained investigation of a topic. And so then we'll have various formative assessment throughout by hanging work that they finish to see, is their work communicating this message that they've chosen. So then we'll have group discussion, peer critique, teacher-student interview to make sure they're going in the right track. And then at the end, summative assessment of assessing the entire portfolio as a whole.
All right.
This is
so many things to think about this. That's good. Okay. Awesome. Music.
So we decided to choose just recorders. There's a lot of different, everybody's got, we could go all over the place in terms of kinder through 5th. So we picked 4th grade recorder, and a lot of it mimics what Van is saying in terms of the students will be able to play recorder karate songs with correct pitch and rhythmic accuracy would be your ultimate goal. They would be able to play the song successfully with no mistakes. So stage 2 is small group playoffs for each other, using peer instruction and listening to one another. And then a performance for the teacher ultimately to make sure that they're able to play the rhythm and pitches correctly on a little plastic instrument. And then stage 3 is a whole group instruction where the students are taught correct rhythm, note names, and correct fingerings. And then they're able to practice multiple ways through clapping, singing, saying, playing, and then move to small group practice to ultimately continue that reinforcement with each other.
Good. Okay, and then we have, theater.
So we took the challenge of teaching, making the non-fun teaching of theater fun, because you have to start with like the basic stage directions of which, left is right, right is left, and all that fun stuff that confuses the children. So we said that we were just going to start with teaching them that and the stage positions, and so we use there's videos that we would show them, and then you have your physical activities as well as giving them a small little quiz or assessment where they can write it on paper so they get the visualization of it for themselves. And then you have group activities where you move to the stage and they find it either as individuals or as a whole class, a group, just to have that basic knowledge there. And because you got your kinesthetic learners and you have all these different types of learning, and so then they can grasp that so you can move on to, okay, now let's put a play on, and when I say stage left, you're gonna go the correct way. So.
Okay, and then choir, you want to share?
Sure.
Okay.
I think the area with performing a song with proper vowel formation, one of my areas, that was in stage 1, and stage 2, we're gonna perform the song and assess the vowel production, and if needed, I'll re-emphasize the vowels, also by recording the groups so they can hear themselves. And my stage 3, to accomplish this, the students will use vocal warm-ups and include singing individual vowels such as ooh, ee, and so forth. They'll also speak the words to the song, emphasizing the vowels.
Alright, good. And did I skip anyone? I don't want to hurt anyone. Anyone's feelings. Okay, so that's good. Thank you all so much for participating in that activity. Now we're gonna switch gears again and go